Saturday's night time provides 2 hours of excitement for motorsport enthusiasts with gruelling off-road competition for four-wheel drives in the Camel Trophy, then action from the Pirelli Classic and Mobile Challenge. The action begins Saturday at 2:50.
Good evening. Or should I say, good evening and welcome to the South Bank Show. And on tonight's programme, we shall be interviewing the avant-garde French film director, Pierre La Patalamoria de la Fontaine Garston, and asking him why he's got such a bloody long name, and why he keeps making those black and white films with subtitles that no one ever goes to see, except Channel 4 trendies with the Doc Martens shoes. We'll talk about how marvellous the cinematography was, which is another way of saying they didn't understand it, as they stuff quiche into the mouths when they'd rather be at home watching Game for a Laugh on television with a bag of chips. So I got a bit carried away there. So, moving on to the world of comedy, one of the biggest comedians in the country, a man whose clever repartee has usurped and diversed from the staid and sterile comedy of the time, Mr. Bernard Manning. Bernard, or should I say Bernard? How do you develop the witty riposte, the clever, subtle put-down, and the rather clever use of irony, satire, and pathos?
You're a toffee-nosed twat, aren't you?
I don't think there's any need for that, Bernard.
Look at the conker, that's in a better face than a baboon.
Yes, well, anyway, moving on to one of Bernard's contemporaries. Les Dawson, what do you think of the comic nature of Mr. Bernard Manning?
The trouble with Bernard is, well, I'm not saying he's rough, but when he was born, the midwife slapped his mother.
Well, call me Jim, get off you lanky bastard, Tavare. Jim, don't give up your day job, Tavare. Jim, last time I saw a face like that, I was feeding it Trill. Because I got the ultimate review for a comedian, which meant the audience tried to spoil the show, but Jim succeeded.
I was going around the supermarket with a calculator and add up the E numbers. Hate cooking. I can only cook pineapple upside down cake. That always comes out the right way up. I eat out in pubs mostly. I think it's because they remind me of petrol stations. You go in and get filled up. Then take home a couple of glasses. I was in McDonald's today. My own fault, I suppose. I read one of their nutrition guides. Tells you to eat somewhere else. I was watching the telly, watching those people. Those ones who don't know stalk from butter or Ariel from brand X, or their arse from their elbow. I did my own test at home. I could tell the difference. Pepsi was just like water. But Coca-Cola dissolved all my clothes and the washing machine.
Dentists! 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 Baby! It's a Las Vegas dentist. Dentist, baby! You need a filling, yeah. Dentists are such liars! Oh, you won't feel a thing here. Then you take one of your wisdom teeth out with a spanner. You know you're in big trouble when a dentist says to you, oh, you might feel a slight twinge this time. Next minute, they've got their knees on your chest reenacting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in your mouth. Just think, when a dentist is doing his training, or her training, they have to play around with a dead person's head. 4 years taking teeth in and out a decomposing severed head. Don't you think that has a kind of effect on them? Is this the kind of person you want inside your mouth with a drill? No chance!
Monday. A first visit to my local hairdressing establishment, Jerry's Gentleman's Salon. Posh name, toilet. Discovered Jerry is worst barber in world. Understandably, because Jerry is blind. After Jerry had removed my hair and left earlobe, he leaned over and unbelievably uttered the immortal cliché.
Anything for the weekend, sir?
Looked in mirror and replied, yes, a toupee.
Hi there, pot pickers. Am I going to lay some on you? I woke up this morning, flipping guitar was pregnant.
It's Tony. Well, I received a lot of criticism for my accent in The Untouchables, but actually a true Irish-American accent does sound like Scottish. And, similarly, with the name of the rose, research shows that a true 14th century Central European monastic Latin would actually have sounded pretty much like 20th century plays a lot of golf, balding Scottish.
A lot of American films at the moment seem to be totally obsessed by success. Films like Top Gun, where people say things like, I'm gonna be #1, Eddie! I'm the best and that's all there is to it! I'm the top dog! The big cheese! The head honcho! Now get out of my way, I've got some ass to kick. But I was thinking, if they'd written that film in Britain, they'd have called it Quite Good Gun. And the speech would have gone, I'm gonna be #17, Eddie. I'm mediocre and that's all there is to it. I'm fairly all right. Kind of okay. Sort of in the middle. Now get out of my way, I've got some ass to tickle.
But moving on to the political, alternative comic of our times, Mr. Ben Elton. Now, Ben, the consensus seems to be with your comedy that it's very clever, very erudite, you're just not funny. Now, I personally find it very difficult to keep up with you. How do you respond to that?
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you? Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, pretty groovy. And then he's sold and he's getting faster all the time. You don't know what he's saying, or he's trying to keep up with him. And then he says something political as a go to the Tories. Yes, indeed. All done about that couple of people in the audience saying, yes, indeed, Greenpeace, vote Labour. My name's Ben Elton. Good night.
Yes, well, a very well-made political point there, Ben. Cleverly disguised as comedy.
At least dentists are trying to do something for the world. Not like baldy guys. Baldy guys are bastards. I don't mind baldy guys normally. No, baldy guys that are cool about it. Okay, I'm baldy, so what? Do you like my tartan shirt? It's gallus, isn't it? Those baldy guys that try and cheat you by growing a tiny wee strand of hair above one ear and teasing it across that vast plateau of baldiness on their heads. Always feel sorry for baldy guys in pop groups, though, like the Bee Gees, who try and compensate by growing hair on every available inch of their body, apart from their heads. Or have you noticed how the Dire Straits headband gets wider and wider all the time, eh? Some baldy guys are very clever, though. Instead of wearing the half-gorilla suit or the headband, they just spread the occasional rumour. Oh, yes, if you're baldy, it just means you're more virile. Come on! Guys with big noses and big feet have been trying that shite on for years! What have you got all three, eh? Baldy with a big nose and big feet. You must drive the girlies bananas! Of course I'm laughing. I think it's funny.
Every day is like Sunday, except the shops are open and there's much more traffic. Oh, girlfriend in a coma, I knew I shouldn't have read her my poetry. Tulip, suicide in the cemetery. In Manchester and Macedon. I would go out tonight, but I promised to stay in case the man from Rumblow's called. Never gonna learn to dance, never gonna learn to sing. I just wanna tell you what I'm earning. You've got a white stick and a guide dog. Don't tell me you're too blind to see. I'm turning into Max Bygrave. I wanna tell you a story.
This little box of Lenor refill. Just how much Lenor softness does it contain? Stacks of it. What's more, you get to pocket the savings we make on the packaging. Lenor refill. So much softness, so much sense.
Rush down to the Argos sale now.
What?
You'll be amazed at what we've reduced.
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
That's original.
Emerson High, 1975. You're in my class.
I was your teacher.
What helps keep skin looking young? Oil of Ulay twice a day. It works like skin's natural fluids to replace lost moisture.
Miss Fitzhenry?
Bugsy Brown.
Oil of Ulay twice a day.
Wow.
The secret of young-looking skin.
You can always tell when a baldy guy's given up, because he starts drinking real ale. Well, you might not get a bird, but you do some great farts. They start getting into real ale and playing folk music. Oh, I can't stand folk music. Because when folk are writing folk music, they cheat. If they can't think of anything to rhyme, they just put an O on the end of the sentence. There was a bonny lassie, oh, that came from Dublin town, oh. Her lover, he was baldy, oh, which meant he'd a massive penis, of course, oh. Ho-ni-ni-ni, ho-ni-ni, hi-ho.
Speaking clock. Bet that's a boring job. Strange how we muddle up time and distance, like we say we live 5 minutes from the shops. Doesn't make sense, really. Or it's 3.5 hours to Cardiff. Well, if we stay here 3.5 hours, we're not going to be in Cardiff. Though on this set, I should think anything could happen, really. Perhaps we'll start measuring other things by time and distance. Going to Texas Home Care and ask for 45 seconds of stair carpet. Or a bank holiday of wallpaper.
I'd just like to interrupt here. To say I think it's marvellous the way you've given so much money so generously to Live Aid, to Amnesty International, to the Nelson Mandela gigs and to children in need. Thousands of people who, through no fault of their own, are down to their last recording contract, are now able to resurrect their careers.
I used to spend ages watching spaghetti westerns. Then I'd try and make friends by going up to other kids and saying, stranger. Tonight, we drink. Tomorrow, we rob the bank.
Tribute to the 70s time, where we find Deep Purple composing. I'm sick of doing these same old numbers, man, day in, day out. Nothing ever changes in this band. Well, it's shit, but it'll do.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to the last resort. All right. Thank you. And, all right. Flub, flubbity, flub, flubbity, flub. And I'm sure we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got two fabulous guests, and one crap one. And to start the show, have a listen to this sound. That was the sound of me earning £1,000, all right.
Baldy guys aren't so bad, though, really. Hey, they're just guys. No, the real menaces today are hairy guys. See? No get out, is there? Hairy guys that join heavy metal bands and go out at night and sing, "Baby, I'm gonna give you my red hot lovin' all night long." Then they have to be in by 12 o'clock so their mum doesn't give them a row. Guys in heavy metal bands that sing, "Baby, why don't you do that little thing that you do to me?" What is that little thing that she does to her? Guys in heavy metal bands are the people that you see waiting at bus stops with crash helmets. I'm just going to pick it up. It's a Suzuki 5 million bastard. Pifco 20, more like.
I once had a terrible experience with drugs. My head got totally screwed up. My hairdresser was a junkie. I was under the dryer, he was on the Starship Enterprise. Cost me a fortune. I had to buy a moped so I could wear a crash helmet for 6 weeks.
Tuesday. Decided to be a bit trendy. Went to an acid house disco. Mistake. Same as normal disco, only 10 times faster. Managed to lose wallet, faint, get 2 ulcers, drink 10 cans Japanese lager, vom ×3, bury Auntie Vi, and understand Middle East situation in 12 seconds flat. This left rest of evening free to hang up coat. Later on, thrashed around on dance floor to noise that MI5 used to interrogate KGB agents. Also learned that however hip you are, it doesn't stop you smelling. By 3 o'clock in morning, minor personal hygiene problems had escalated into all-out chemical warfare. On leaving, door personage said, "So what do you think of acid house?" Replied quite wittily, "I think I preferred Hector's house."
I thought I'd try a few of those job agencies. But I must have rang up about 7 or 8 of them. I'm sure it's exactly the same woman who answered the phone. "Hello, can I help you?" "Ringing for you." "Putting you through now. Thanks." Anyway, eventually they lined up an interview for me, and I remember it vividly. because I really wanted to impress the bloke. So the first thing I said to him was, "Yeah. Stranger." And he said, "Piss off." No, he didn't really. What he actually said was, "Thanks very much for coming. We don't think it's suitable for the job. Perhaps you should seek medical advice. Good luck for the future." But it was really embarrassing because I bumped into him about 5 minutes later in the pub across the road. And I couldn't think of anything to say. So I just said, Didn't get the job then. And then he really did say, "Piss off."
I've never understood those people who knew exactly what job they wanted to do right from the age of 5. I mean, it obviously isn't a rational decision. No 5-year-old thinks, "Oh, if I work in the building society, I'll get a 3.5% mortgage." I think it all depends what toys you're given as a kid. I mean, this bloke who's the Minister of Agriculture, he only got that job because he had a fuzzy felt farmyard. And I bet Mr. Barrett had a Lego kit with half the pieces missing. Strange, though, because I had a Mr. Potato Head, but I never went into genetic engineering.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm schizophrenic, so am I. So I went to the doctor to tell him how I felt. I said, "I've got schizophrenia, and I'll second that." The doctor sat me down, he looked me in the eye, he said, "You've got schizophrenia, but so have I, that makes 4 of us." He said, "I'm a Gemini." I said,